So here's the only reason you should even think about pursuing a relationship with a woman. And the only reason you should do this, it's not for sex. That's hedonistic pleasure. It's a waste of time and money, and it's illogical. Don't do that. Don't be a coomer. And it's not even for companionship, because the reality is the women do not want you for you. They want you for your provisions. No. The only reason you should pursue women at all is for the status. That means don't go after ugly women, don't go after fat women, because having a fat girlfriend actually decreases your status. No, what you want is you want to be super selective and choose a female who is good enough looking to increase your status. So say you're an average guy. If you got an average girlfriend, well, that's good enough to increase your status, because most dudes see women who are average as above average. Men rate women very liberally. They'll rate an objective 5, so a woman who would be like, if you were to put all women on like a scale, like if you were to put them all on a bell curve, the average looking versus the most attractive and the least attractive, the 5 woman would be rated by a dude as like a 7 or an 8. Dudes overrate the fuck out of women. So just getting yourself an average female is enough to increase your status. And getting a woman is really it's really an irrational decision unless you're doing it to increase your status. So honestly, that's the only reason I would ever pursue a female. And the only reason you should is for status. But outside of that, you're really getting a net loss, and it's almost not worth it unless your status increases significant enough to counterbalance the losses you have from the relationship. So typically what happens is a dude will get a girl, and the girl will be a net loss on his time and his money. So what happens is the guy, he's got to commit more of his time to making sure this girl is satisfied. And what I mean by satisfied is just giving attention to her and just being, oh, why don't you take me out, that kind of shit. The dude will typically waste enough time and money that the status increase is negated, so it's actually not worth it. But if she's extremely good looking to the point where it's a huge status increase, or maybe you found a unicorn that actually works hard and like increases your resources, which is very rare with women. Women tend to start rotting as soon as a dude picks them up, and they'll just sit around, watch Netflix all day while you're working your ass off. And then they're also eating your food, and they're living in your place, consuming your toilet paper. Like, that's the reality of the situation. Like, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it, in my opinion, for you to have a wife or a girlfriend unless you find a unicorn or you manage to get one that's exceptionally attractive. If it's neither of those things, well, say it's an ugly girl. She's not going to increase your status, and a real ugly girl will actually decrease your status, because then you just look like a low, quote-unquote, low-value man, which I hate that I hate that phrase, because let's be real here. Are there any high-value men in the population outside of maybe a few outliers that are statistically improbable that you are one of those people? It's so statistically improbable for you to be one of those outliers that they're not even really worth talking about. Anyway, yeah, don't pursue women for any other reason than status. That's the only logical reason to pursue them. Sex is illogical. It makes no sense except for reproduction. I guess you could say reproduction is another reason too, but let's be real here. Who wants to raise a kid in this fucking world, man? Fuck that shit, dude. You are going to send your kid to the slaughterhouse that is the public schooling system. They're going to come out of that hating your ass. So, yeah, that would be probably the only other reason, but I think the main reason outside of reproduction that you should pursue women, if you do at all, is for status. Outside of that, you're getting nothing out of it. 90% of the relationships I see between a man and a woman, the woman is just sitting around leeching off of the man while the man is working his ass off. He's doing all this shit because, I want to get some pussy, bro. I want to get some pussy. Duh. I'm a lizard brain coomer. So don't be that guy. I know most of you are. Maybe not most of you, but most dudes are coomers. They're stupid. They only care about sex. They're retarded. They're bestial creatures of lust who are worthy of zero respect. Don't be that guy. If you're gonna pursue women, do it for status or reproduction. But I'm not talking about that. Just do it for status. And it's a huge decision, and it's really they're gonna leech off of you most of the time. Like, you hear these gurus online, they're like, no, the woman provides emotional companionship and blah blah blah. You gotta learn to go without that shit. First of all, you got brotherhood, which is 10 times more valuable than emotional companionship of a woman. All she's gonna provide, and I'm not saying that this in a fucking homo way, I'm just saying, like, she's gonna provide from a non-sexual standpoint. She's just gonna provide, like, fucking what? I don't know. Probably not very much. Like, she's not gonna help you with anything and help you become more successful and defend you if you're under attack or anything like that. She's just gonna be there. She's a liability most of the time. So, yeah, that's my take. I really like the MGTOW philosophy. I think it's a very sound philosophy, although they do cope a lot. They do say, well, look at all these women, they're just going to be hitting the wall and then they're going to regret it. No, women don't give a fuck. They're the real ones going their own way. They don't want you. The only reason they want anybody is because they want your resources. Outside of that, they don't want you sexually. Women don't have high sex drive, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. They don't want you physically. Women really aren't that attracted to men. If you see rating scales, women don't find men very attractive, believe it or not, unlike men who find women very attractive. So all I'm offering is, like, some logic that you could apply to your life, and this logic is just be very selective about what women you choose, if you're going to choose one at all, because the only real benefit you can get from them is status increase and maybe reproduction if you're about that life. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I thought I was going to create something a little bit more upbeat or a little bit more straight to the point, logical, less doomer. Peace out.